Hi everybody, it's Plastic EP here in Melbourne, Australia. And it's nearly 4:30 and I've got a very, very special guest, Derham Groves. I nickname him the Professor. He's the man that organised the big Monkey Mania 50th anniversary tour at Melbourne University, and I was happy enough to donate some of my collectibles there. And what a great event that was, Derham. How are you today?
How are you, Plastic EP? Pretty good, thanks. So what you're talking about now sounds like ancient history to me, but it was great fun at the time organising that exhibition. So what I wanted to do was to sort of celebrate that 50th anniversary of the Monkees tour to Australia. I was 12 when that happened, when they came to Australia and to Melbourne.
And I was 10.
Well, I didn't go. I wasn't allowed to go.
I wasn't either. And listen, I got my friend Charles Rosenet in America. He wants to say a big hello to you, Professor. Everybody out there, he is the Professor. He knows more about the Monkees in Australia than anybody, but he doesn't want to tell you. Show me the book. Show me the book. This is all about the book.
Well, okay. Well, originally we had the exhibition catalogue. That was that one done. And then I published this particular book, published by a publisher in America, and it's called Monkey Mania in Australia. And on the back is that Mattel puppet. And in fact, that's one of the things that interested me, which not many people, I guess, understand. But I have this sort of fascination with puppets. And besides being of the generation of the Monkees, that sort of first generation of Monkey fans, what fascinated me was the sort of relationship that the Monkees have with puppets. And not only the sort of puppets like the Mattel one that I showed you, which I have the original one.
Show me the real one and go through it slowly. Wait, let's see their heads. Don't rush. Yeah, we got okay. Mickey. That's Mickey.
Yeah, we got Mickey. Here they are.
Yeah, you got to aim it towards the camera. Camera's over here.
Yeah, there we go.
Camera's over here. The other way. Stop. It's right there, the camera. Show me the heads.
Yeah. So
I see Mike. Yeah, that must be Davey. And what's the one on the ends? That must be Peter right across. And the first one must be Mickey. Right. Show me Mickey.
Here he is.
Show me Mickey. He's the one that's hidden. Show me him. Yeah. Turn it a bit more towards me. The other way. That's it. That's where it is. I'm here. Thank you.
So yeah, there were all of those sorts of puppets, and there's the sort of finger puppets as well, which I only have one of those. You know, these little puppets. This one's Davey, and so you know, and you sort of put your fingers in there and
show me his head.
There he is.
Yeah, show me. Yeah, it looks like Davey. It looks like one of those beetle dogs that needs a haircut.
That's right. But I mean, so there were lots of puppets about the Monkees, but also Mr. Schneider on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
In a sense, he was a puppet. He was the sort of fifth monkey. So, so this sort of notion with puppets, plus I had this other fascination with puppets. So when I was teaching, I used to teach, I've just retired. There you go. Who did
Don't worry. They're ringing up about the puppet. They're ringing up to put in orders for the book.
So I used to teach. I retired at the end of 2019, and of course, as I knew it would, the world ended. But I stopped teaching architecture at the University of Melbourne, and but when I was there, one of the things that I used to do was often get students to design puppets and make puppets. And so for this exhibition, I got my class, a big class, it was over 200 people, and they all made puppets of the Monkees. And so this one, for example, is Mike. Which obviously is one that I liked, yeah. And so they made a couple of hundred puppets, and we chose about 60 of them, and they were exhibited in the exhibition. But in this particular book, look, I know not many people perhaps will appreciate it, but they're, all of the puppets are actually reproduced in the back of the book. So the first bit of the book is text, me talking about the Monkees and their tour of Australia, and I interviewed some people, Marcy and the Cookies, who toured with the Monkees, also the Cherokees. I talked to some members of the Cherokees. I talked to people from TV Week who organised the Monkees fan club here, and lots of Monkees fans at that particular time. Talked about things like, one of the interesting things was especially girls, young girls. They they put together these amazing scrapbooks of Monkees pictures and things that they that they'd cut out of magazines and newspapers. And so I tried to look at all of that kind of fandom, plus kids' bedrooms. When we were kids, we'd have all of these collectibles in bedrooms, and one of the exhibitions was a kind of reconstruction of a kid's bedroom with all of the Monkees, and of course that's what you helped a lot with, was supplying some of those collectibles that were in that particular big case, all laid out on a bed with a bed head, etc. And then we also had there were 4 cabinets dedicated to, each one was dedicated to a Monkee, and there was a revolving kind of thing in there with all of the puppets. And then I also talked about 1968, which was the year that they came to Australia. And 1968 was an extraordinary year because you had so many things happening in terms of politics, with the Vietnam War, with the election of Richard Nixon in America, and all of these things, all of these topics, the Monkees talked about when they came to Australia. I mean, they talked about politics, they talked about the Vietnam War. I mean, Mickey was sort of, there was a sort of threat to draft him hanging over his head. None of them wanted
That
to
was
go.
Davey. That was Davey.
No, that was Mickey. He couldn't go because he in the end he had a crook leg, so that's why.
Yeah, that's all right. I think you're right. That's correct.
Yeah,
But they
that's
were
right.
after Davey as well. Sorry, they wanted both of them.
I know. I mean, look, so it wasn't just about the music when they came. They were also interested to engage in politics and all of that kind of stuff. They also, there was lots of talk about drug culture and all of that. They really encapsulated that particular time. And of course, the other thing which I think is just amazing, a kind of masterpiece that just wasn't really appreciated at the time, was their film Head, which also came out around the same time that they'd actually toured here. And in terms of talking about puppets and surrealism and all the kind of weirdness that which was incorporated in the show, when you look at the when you look at the Monkees TV show, I mean, they were shape shifting and time traveling, more than Doctor Who when you actually look at it. And so all of this, I tried to capture in the exhibition and in the book and the catalogue, the exhibition catalogue. So that's what I was sort of interested in, not just the music, which I think is, again, people just did not appreciate it. That they just didn't get it really, and but I tried to look at Australia and the world through the eyes of the Monkees at that moment in time when they actually came to Australia. And look, some people didn't get that. Some people, I mean, I got letters. There was some letters from people absolutely upset that the University of Melbourne would, had the temerity to actually agree to put on an exhibition dedicated to the Monkees. They thought, this is a complete what's going
Yeah,
on
but they
here.
must have been Beatle fans.
Well, you see, that's the other thing. I mean, when you look at the Beatles got the Monkees more than the Monkees got the Monkees, and so when you look at that fantastic video of the making of A Day in the Life, the Beatles song, there's Mike Nesmith there. I mean, so it really the way the Monkees were misunderstood by so many people, the prejudice that sort of hung around them because of the way the band was put together. But when you think about it, they were auditioning for a TV show. So of course that's the way you put together the cast of a TV show. Nobody guessed that the music would have been as big as it actually was. And of course, Mike Nesmith, I think is just an extraordinary musician and a fantastic songwriter. I mean, some of those songs, the beat of a different drum, etc. Just fantastic songs. So that's what I was really interested to try and look at the Monkees from a different in a different light, a different point of view. And I think we succeeded. It was certainly good fun. In conjunction with that, I think I gave about 6 lectures on various aspects of the Monkees, from the show to the music, to the tour, all sorts of things. So I think it was a worthwhile thing to do. But boy, did I cop some flack at that time, I must admit.
But you cop flack when you went to state school, like elementary school. I did,
Well, of course,
because there's older people into the Beatles, and I'm telling my Monkey fans, and they want to make me look like an idiot, and I didn't even listen to them. I love the Monkees, and that was my generation, and that's what it is.
Well, I agree. I mean, as I say, I was 12 when the Monkees came, but I was only 8 when the Beatles came. So I remember it. But when the difference between being 8 and being 12 is huge, and so I didn't really know what was going on when I was 8 and the Beatles were here. I had my plastic Beatles wig from
Woolworths, 20 cents.
Exactly.
Or 2 shillings, actually, but I got to say something. I'm 2 years older than you. So when the Beatles came in 64, I'm 6.
Younger. Yeah.
I'm 6. So I saw it, but I didn't get it. But with the Beatles, Monkees, I'm 8 to 9 years old. That's my group. Like that song, For Pete's Sake, that they used at the end of the episodes, In This Generation. Well, whether you like it or not, I'm a first generation Beatle fan like you. Monkey fan, sorry. First generation baby boomer. And that's me. That was my generation. You talk to my sister, and she's ABBA. She's ABBA. She grew up with ABBA.
I know.
You're lucky. Hey, Derham, you're lucky you didn't grow up with the Bay City Rollers.
Well, as I say, I'm into making puppets, and my generation here, this guy, if you're an Australian or if you came from Melbourne, you'd know who he was. That's Happy Hammond, believe it or not.
He had a kids show, Tarak show. That was the best.
And this is the other thing. This is the other thing which interested me, because the Monkees TV show was a kids show, and to a certain extent, it was in competition with people like poor old Happy Hammond. But it was just a world away. Where with those kids shows, you had all of the same elements. On Happy Hammond, you had puppets, you had Ron Blaskett and Jerry G and what. So they took all of the elements in sort of traditional kid shows that we grew up, but they actually kind of repackaged them and reinvented them in this amazing show called the Monkees. It was incredible. And so somebody of my age, your age, who sort of saw the traditional children's show and then suddenly confronted with the Monkees, of course we kind of said, what's going on here? And it was fantastic. I mean, it really was. It was an exciting time, and I guess that's what I wanted to get across with the exhibition. It was an exciting time, not only in music, but also in terms of the world, all of the kind of stuff that was going on, and you know, it deserves another look. That's what I was interested in doing.
Derham, I've got to say now, let's compare it to other shows just quickly because you're here in Australia. Bozo the Clown from America, I remember that, where they lined up the buckets and they had to throw the ping pong ball. That's one of the shows.
Yeah.
Then, as I said, we're first generation. We saw Gilligan's Island. We saw Batman. We saw everything first time shown. I mean, Lost in Space. I remember Star Trek too. I remember everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's quite interesting. And again, you know, I mean, I watched Circus Boy, where you had Mickey as Corky, you know, with Joey the Clown, etc. All of that. So
Bimbo was the name of the elephant. Bimbo.
The elephant. That's right. I used to ride that coming in, and what was the name of the Big Jim?
That's right.
Big Jim Champion, I think his name was the you know, the kind of father figure in that show. So all of these sorts of shows were on, but the Monkees and and the other thing about the Monkees, the TV show, was that kind of surreal sense of humor. The actual, you know, talking to the audience, basically, and all of the asides and all of the kind of you know, all of the different things that happened, which was quite revolutionary at that particular time. Then you mix that with music. I mean, and if people actually watch that show again, and with that sort of notion that some surreal things are going to happen here, they'll really appreciate it in a different way. I mean, there was that episode where at the end, because this again was referencing the Who at the time, when at the end of the show, Liberace comes in with a hammer and smashes a piano to pieces, and everybody claps. And I mean, all of this kind of stuff that was going on, it was just weird. And that fantastic interview with Mike and Frank Zappa, where Mike is dressed up as Frank Zappa and Frank Zappa is dressed up as Mike, and they're interviewing each other. I mean, all of this kind of weird stuff, you know, it's so rich. You know, this wasn't just thrown together by people only interested in making money. Okay, they made a lot of money. You know, we're talking about the producers and whatnot, but these were smart guys. These are the guys that made Easy Rider. You know, these are the skills and the kind of thought processes that they brought to that show, and then the music on top of that and everything else. It was fantastic. And you know, but for all these years, because of this sort of fake rivalry with the Beatles, the fact that, you know, they were sort of copying them, and everybody knew that they were, but it was done in a kind of tongue-in-cheek way. It wasn't a sort of deliberate rip-off, and but still people misunderstand all of that. Still people have this incredible prejudice against the Monkees, and I guess I mean, I just got sick of it, basically, and I thought, this is ridiculous, you know. And so even if that exhibition, even if those talks that I gave converted some people, and I think they did. I mean, many of the students, there was over 200 students, many of them were from mainland China, who had never heard of the Monkees. I mean, these were kids in their 20s. But by the end of that semester, after them making the puppets and hearing some talks and then seeing the exhibition, honestly, some of those kids got it more than some of my generation did. So you know, it still holds up. That's what I'm saying, and I still can't understand. I really can't understand the prejudice that the Monkees have carried for all these years. It's ridiculous, you know.
But here's my take on it, okay? Here's a TV show, the first time they use their real names. Who are pop artists have their own 30-minute...
Yeah, now it's interesting you say that, because again, here is another reference with the Monkees to an older sort of TV show, and that was the Mickey Mouse Club. And in the Mickey Mouse Club, they also kept their real names. So you had Annette, you had Doreen, you had all of those. So you see, again, this was
Jimmy.
This was Jimmy, you know, Roy. They're all there. They're all there. That's another one where you had these sorts of crossovers where you know, in these kids shows they were all keeping their real names. So you're right.
Yeah, but they had their surnames. They had their surnames too. Davy Jones. Yeah. That's why you can't beat that. And also, it's not like you're watching the Donna Reed show from way behind where they don't use their names and they sing songs. This is the first time you got people with their own name, even though they played themselves or characters. Like Peter played a different character from himself in real life.
Yeah.
But what it was is,
look, he was
2 actors cross over to be musicians and 2 musicians cross over to be actors. And you know what? They did play live and they did become a band. And that's why they went from fantasy to reality. And that's why it's totally different. And then what happens? They imploded. That's what the Monkees did. They imploded. They wanted to take over the show. One wanted to be a director. One wanted to be this. Everybody wanted to do different jobs at the end. And basically everybody wanted control. That's what happened to the show.
And I mean, I think, again, all of that was happening, you know, that sort of implosion. And of course, about 1968, when they came to Australia. So it was soon after they went back home that Peter Tork left the band. And I mean, who would have guessed that Peter Tork would have been the first one to leave? Everybody thought that Mike was the more cynical one. He was the one that was going to leave, but he didn't.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the same story. Sorry, you know this. And I say this, but I want to say it one more time. I'm 11 years old. I get this as a birthday present, right? Do you see any picture of the Monkees on there?
Nothing.
No, but let me explain. That's the greatest hits that came out. And I'm 9 years old and I received this in my hand. And this album is bigger than my head. Okay? And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? Why is there no picture of the Monkees? Where up until now there's been pictures of the Monkees. I know it's a psychedelic era.
Yeah.
But why is it there's no picture of the Monkees? And then, guess what? 5 years ago, then I find out about this. And that's the original album with the pictures that we never got. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I mean, I knew that that's why the bottom was blank. Yeah. So
because Peter had left the group.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want to pay royalties probably. So that's why they scrapped it and it got as far as New Zealand. That's what I think happened.
Yeah. But and I mean the other thing which again happened in '68, which I thought was pretty amazing, was after the show had ended, after the Monkees had gone home, etc. We got the Monkey-mobile out here. You know, that came out for an exhibition. And so that, to a certain extent, the fact that the Monkey-mobile came to Australia in 1968, after the Monkees had performed, it actually helped to sort of extend their influence here. So you know, kids could see the Monkey-mobile at the Royal Melbourne Show.
That's right. I saw wherever,
it. You know, but another, you know, there's so many interesting kind of connections with Australia when you actually start delving into this, and the fact that the Monkey-mobile arrived here and kind of got lost. It sort of vanished from the earth about the middle of 1969, 69,
Yeah.
and what it didn't show up for years later when it ended up in Puerto Rico as painted pink as a a courtesy car at a hotel.
Yeah, it was a hotel car. That's what it was, and someone realised what it was,
I
took
mean,
it back to the States.
So one of the things I was hoping to find out when this was on, but never did, was what happened to that car when it was, after it got lost in Australia. Whose uncle's garage was it in for all those years? How did it actually get from Australia to Puerto Rico? I mean,
Exactly, but who knows?
who knows?
Who knows?
Somebody knows.
Yeah, but you're the professor. You need to find this out now.
They haven't come clean. That's
Now listen, Derham, let me tell you, my very good friend, Charles Rosenay, he sent a message to you right from America. He said, when I lived in England for a while, my home was in Derham Groves. There you go.
Well, there you go. Good on you, Charles. Thanks for that. What can I say?
But see, this is why I've got you on. We should have a segment where we call it Ask the Professor. And they just come on and ask questions.
Look, it was great fun, and it was great fun meeting lots of people. It was great fun, I mean, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for the exhibition. I met so many people, and the opening of the exhibition was fantastic because who opened the exhibition? Marcy and the Cookies opened the exhibition, and
yeah, of course.
They were just fantastic. They sang, they hadn't sung together for a long time, and they just snapped into it like that. And one of them actually brought her
outfit.
Yeah, that Pruactina design. Now and again, the fashions in that, this miniskirt was so short. These days, it would be. This skirt would have constituted as a blouse. I mean, it was so short. Amazing, the sorts of things that were going on at that particular
And also someone from the Cherokees, Doug, he became music director of Davy Jones.
Yeah, Doug Trevor.
Trevor, that's right, Doug Trevor.
Yeah.
Are you looking it up?
No, I've just thought of something that I should mention, but go on, keep going. Yeah, I mean,
but what I'm saying is
exactly. Doug Trevor was Davy's musical director. Yeah.
You know what a small world it is, because the Monkees love Australia and Australia loves the Monkees. But let me tell you, we did 3 interviews, you and me together.
Yep.
They're on the net, and we spoke about Mike signing my 38-year-old poster, which he did.
Well, again, that was because when was it? That
morning.
Yeah. Well, we went to the concert separately, but we were sitting next to each other.
So what's the odds of that? What's the odds of that?
It was pretty weird because my wife and I, we'd got our tickets, so we were there, and next minute, your wife and son walks past and sits right next to us.
Yeah, Mrs. Plastic EP, she was next to you.
It was fantastic. And what a concert look, I must admit, I thought, now look, should I go to this concert or not? I mean, there was only 2 of them there. And of course, for me, the Monkees, when I think of the Monkees, I'm thinking of guys in their 20s, not guys in their 70s. And I thought, is this going to be a disappointment or not? But I went, and I'm glad I went. They were fantastic. They were on stage, at least, 2, I don't know how, they must have sung, 17 songs? It was incredible.
Maybe 20. But I'll tell you what,
it was incredible.
I bought this for $50 Australian there. That's one of my favourite photos, and he signed it. Where are you going to get that? Come on. We love Mike.
And everybody behaved themselves until, in the audience, until a Daydream Believer, they sang that. And then everybody in the audience of similar age was singing along. It was a fantastic night at the Palais I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a fantastic job, and I'm so glad. I went. Actually, yeah, it was
You
great.
know, when Mickey sang "I'm a Believer," everybody stood up because I had a video camera, I had my phone,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
turned around and filmed, and everyone's standing singing
I know.
"I'm a Believer,"
It was
and
a
they
great
ended
night.
up selling out the Sydney Opera House as their last one, and hopefully that's coming out as a DVD. That concert at the
All
Sydney
right.
Opera House.
Those Sydney buggers, they always get the. It should have been the Palais one that they put on the.
Yeah, but don't worry, we know Mike played the Palais, so don't worry about it. You're so funny, honestly.
Anyway. Well, look, it's been great talking to you. And if people want to get the book, look, you can get it on Amazon. What can't you get on Amazon? But really, the best way is to go to the website. It's published by Hog Press, a little press in America, and you can get it on their website as well. So, but that's not why writers make no money these days. Certainly, this writer makes no money. I just wanted to put that stuff down so that it was on the record of what a great concert in '68 it was, and try to explain my interest and love for the Monkees and the complexity of the Monkees. Not, it's as I say, I think people have just got it wrong. So so that's great.
Derham, that's fascinating. I'll tell you, do me a favour, please. Pick up the
Yes.
book one more time
Okay. There we
and
go.
let's display it properly. Just lift it up a bit.
Yep,
Because people in America need to get this book because there's so many people that love Australia. They cannot miss out on Monkey Mania in Australia by Derham Groves at Amazon. Look at that puppet on the back. And even Charles said fantastic artwork. He said that.
Well, thanks, Look, do the poor old publisher a favour. If you try Hog Press first, and if you can't do it, then go to give Jeff Bezos another few bucks. But he doesn't need them, I can tell you that.
Anyway, we don't care. You're having a great life talking to Plastic EP today. What more do you want? We've got to catch up for coffee because I need my signed book.
Well, anytime. As soon as this, I'm waiting for the second COVID-19 wave.
All right, listen. Derham Groves, the professor. I call you the professor. I love calling you that. Now, listen, I want to say thank you so much for coming on today. And do me a favour. We'll say goodbye, but just stay there. Don't go yet. All right, everybody in the world, do you know about the book? Monkey Mania in Australia. Don't miss it. That's what it is, Monkey Mania, isn't it?
That's correct. Thanks, okay. Plastic EP.
Bye.